welcome to the show, The Immorals, with myself,
and
Jesus.
and myself, Tony.
Yeah, I may also be referenced as Chewy, as I'm also known as.
I went backwards. My name is actually Christian, and I'm referenced as Tony.
There you go. All right, today's our first episode ever. We're trying this out. We've had a few trial runs before with some lesser equipment, I want to say.
I don't know if Marlin is considered lesser equipment, but I kind of would agree. I'm not gonna disagree, is what I'm saying.
I don't think anybody would disagree with Marlon being lesser equipment. By the way, Marlon is going to be one of our regulars on the show, most likely. He's going to come on and give his little bullshit.
So we just got back from Comic-Con, Long Beach, not the San Diego Comic-Con. It's like a smaller version. And when we say smaller, it was smaller. I was actually I enjoy these conventions. They're a lot of fun, but I was disappointed on the size and the turnout. And I'm wondering what happened. Like, I have no idea if it was like they didn't have exhibits and people didn't want to be a part of it. I don't know if COVID is playing a factor still in these things. It
Maybe.
Seems like it was shooting on all cylinders every other year, and this year it just seemed like a third of the size, maybe a fourth of the size.
Well, for me, it was my first time going to the Long Beach Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. So I expected something bigger,
right?
And when I showed up, it was like literally 1/20th the size of what I'm used to a con being.
Right.
Especially like the last one I went to was LA Comic-Con, and it was like 20 times bigger than what we just saw in Long Beach. Right. Although some of the cosplays were pretty fucking cool.
They were pretty good. People did good. You know, that's probably my favorite thing of this is the fan base. The fan base is the fan base. You can never go wrong. There's a certain level of energy. Just the more people that are present, the bigger the energy is. So you still go and you get something out of these experiences, and they're a lot of fun to still be a part of it. But
1000% I agree with that.
There's nothing like the San Diego one, though. That San Diego one, fireworks. It's insane.
I mean, it's the biggest one in the country. I mean, it's hard as hell to get into that thing anyways. Like, I've tried every single year, and I continue to fail to get into that thing. I've never experienced it. I've seen it from the outside. It's like I'm the poor guy sitting outside on the window just watching the rich people eat food. Can I have some, please, sir? Maybe just a little crumb. You know, nothing.
Nothing. They scuff at you.
Get on here, child. You know?
That was a kick.
Yeah.
I
got kicked.
Talking about a kick, I saw you rocking your boot. What's going on with your leg situation?
So it's not a boot, it's an AFO. AFO stands for ankle foot orthotic, and it helps me walk because I have permanent foot drop due to having a jacked up back due to a series of accidents that happened.
When you say series of accidents, I feel like I need you to elaborate slightly what that means to illustrate and paint a picture of the events that took place.
Okay, so I tore my calf. That's one big thing. It's still split in two. It looks like it's split in two. It functions. It doesn't hurt anymore. It does cramp a lot. Mm-hmm. I do get frequent cramps, but you could tell it looks like it's split in two. It's pretty weird and creepy. But
disgusting is a more appropriate word.
Yeah, disgusting could be a very appropriate word. But yeah, going on, it's you know, I don't really want to get too much into details because I don't know how it goes as far as like the situation with the district, because I worked for a district, and it happened chasing this kid who just happened to be a constant eloper, just taken out of the classroom. I remember running after this kid for like a freaking week, dude, nonstop. He's just running into classrooms, a little laughter going on, like he knows what he was doing. I know he has autism to a certain extent or a certain amount on the spectrum, but yeah, you keep running. And one of those times I took off because he was heading towards the exit, the parking lot, and I took off after him, and I just felt like one of the worst, sharpest pains on my calf, and I pretty much tore it, man. And then like I came back after it healed, and I shit you not, a month later, the kid does it again, takes off. But at this situation was they were fixing the sewage system, and for some fucking reason, it happens at this ginormous hole. I'm talking like easily like a 4-foot radius hole, manhole is open and set on the floor. They have the construction fences going. They have trucks. They have the people going. And this little dude runs right through it. They have like a playground that was marked off right next to it,
Right.
and this little dude just runs right through him. The guys are yelling, "Hey, you can't be here, man! What are you doing, kid?" And I'm chasing after him, and they're like, "Hey, you can't let that kid go through." And I'm like, "Come on, man! Are you kidding me, dude?" I'm like, I can't control this guy. This guy's on his own right here, man. You can't really control this kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could try, but and then there's certain specifications of what you can do as far as stopping the kid. I can't grab him. I can't pull him. You know, they kind of limit you. It's kind of a situation where your hands are tied behind your back,
which makes sense to a degree,
right?
Like you understand the policy, why the policy.
Oh, I completely understand the policy. Because you don't want to abuse a kid. You don't want to accidentally hurt a kid by trying to like. So I understand why there's certain procedures, certain limitations, and on the job. But when that happened, I had to take off after him because he literally ran through a dangerous situation and climbed this playground. I took off after him, chased him before he even hit the playground.
Yeah.
My calf went out again, and then like it was just like another amount of sharp pain, like super painful. And then this kid's on top of the playground, can't get him off. I'm getting yelled at by like the new assistant principal, the lunch ladies, all kinds of the construction workers, and I'm like, this kid like planted himself on the playground. I can't get him off. Right. I literally had to pick him off from the ground, and we're talking a third grader, not the lightest, and I'm not a weak person in any way, but like I had to get like dead body, like kids like dead weight on the floor of the playground, and I had to like pick him up and carry him out of the situation with my messed up leg already. Yeah. I am hurting. I took him all the way into the classroom. I leave him there. And I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing, but my leg's jacked. So they send me back to the doctor, the urgent care, whatever. I get it checked. They give me like situations to heal. And then next thing you know, I can't lift my foot up anymore. I don't know why. Turns out that I guess in this entire process, not only did I tear my calf, but I managed to create herniations on my back. And probably because of the walking weirdly because of my messed up leg and so on, the doctors pretty much said that they correlate, and then I'm in a situation now where I'm permanently disabled.
Wow. And you have a UFO now.
AFO.
That's close.
Pretty close. And then we've discussed this before. The situation is that they send me to a spine specialist and a foot and a footer orthotics specialist, and et cetera, and these guys both tell me it's my lower back that caused the lower back is what's causing the foot drop, and that the lower back situation is caused by the messed up leg, and then the picking up of the child and all that situation, kind of like they all correlate. And then
it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. And then the spine specialist says that I have 2 herniated discs that are causing me stenosis, so I could potentially end up being a paraplegic if I get like a big enough hit or cause some sort of damage.
Feels a little bit like not another teen movie, like the third hit is what's gonna cause.
Bam. And then like, speaking of which, walking down my steps at my house on last Sunday, screwed up my back. I was perfectly fine. Just walked, hit the last step, boom, back is jacked. Has been jacked for an entire week.
I will say that is absolutely a possibility with drop foot, but it feels like after your mid-30s, if I sleep wrong, I could wake up jacked, and I legitimately am wondering, is this how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life? Like, just my shoulder's not going to work.
I think it's not just you and I. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Once you hit your 30s, you're just not the same. Especially if you've been working out, if you've been playing sports, you put your body through so much crap, dude, that most definitely in your 30s, you're easily shacked up by anything when it comes to your back.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, there's nothing more humbling than messing up your back.
1,000%.
And not being able to just walk.
Yeah.
Stand up straight. Like, the idea of standing up straight is like, when you pull your back, you're like, I can't. Like,
you realize how vulnerable it can make you.
100%.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah. It hurts your back. You're jacked, and you're done.
Yeah.
For like a good while. And we've discussed in the past. Yeah, like, you hurt your shoulders hurting, my elbows hurt, my hands hurting. I could work through that. But your back goes, bro.
Jacked.
Done.
Yeah.
1,000%. I'm sure all of you guys would agree on that too. Your back goes, you go.
Done.
And then, leading on to the fact is this dude suggests to get back surgery, And now
Damn.
I'm trying to go through this process because I got denied from the district because so I had to go through like all these QMEs, which means qualified medical exam, and then that guy says like, yeah, your lower back leads to what you're having, but the upper stenosis, like that's the touchy situation. Like I don't know if you need surgery or not, but then the spinal expert is saying like, no, you need surgery, bro. And that's where we're like, well, is he looking out for his best interest, or is he looking out for my best interest, like financially for him?
Or it could also be that's the only thing he knows. Like that's the problem with a lot of these people. It's like that's the only treatment
Yeah,
that person
exactly.
knows.
And then I go to urgent care. Hey, my back hurts. They don't really help you solve the source of the problem. They're kind of just like, all right, let's solve whatever you're feeling now. Oh, you have pain? Let's give you painkillers, muscle relaxers, steroids, whatever. Let's solve that problem for now.
Yeah.
Hey, but maybe down the line you're gonna get more jacked. Who knows? They just want to solve whatever they can solve right now.
Yeah, the treatment that they can provide. Like a lot of like you go to a acupuncturist, they're gonna have some kind of needle treatment for you. If you go to a
chiropractor,
yeah, they're gonna have a different form.
Yeah,
of treatment
chiropractor's gonna be like,
they're
oh, you don't need surgery, bro.
definitive of being able to heal
Yeah,
you
they'll be
with,
like,
with what they're peddling.
exactly. They'll be like, no, you don't need surgery, bro. I'll crack you up every week. You'll be set.
I'll crack you up.
I'll snap, crackle, and pop you, bro, like you're
Pop, pop,
fucking
pop.
Rice Krispies, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then it comes down to like, all right, then now let me set up an appointment with my PCP, my personal care doctor over here, and or my personal care physician, PCP, and then they're like, this is July, and they're like, sure, man, next available appointment is November. Can you come in November?
Hold, but you have insurance, right?
Yeah, I have insurance, bro. That doesn't mean jack. My personal doctor's like, yo, I could see you in November. Is it really serious? I'm like, well, it says I need surgery. I kind of want to see. I want to see him to see what he thinks. Give him all the evidence. Maybe he could refer me back to the same doctor. No, the same spine specialist, and then maybe we could get this taken care of. Because I'm like, okay, if I need back surgery, then fuck, I need back surgery. I mean, I want to solve the problem because even right now with my back being jacked, I stepped walking downstairs, stepping off the freaking curve. I feel like shocks going down my legs, and that's definitely not normal.
Yeah. Well, like the bright side is that Comic Con was so small that the walking wasn't as
maybe
brutal.
It benefited me that Comic Con at Long Beach is so small. I didn't have to walk or stand for that long of a time. That it benefited me. You're right. Got to see the positives up in this bitch.
Though I like your idea that if you were to become a paraplegic,
exactly, I got to commit to my paraplegicness, my handicapness or my wheelchair, and I've said that I'm gonna go all out for every Halloween. Xavier, bro, done. Ball cap. I don't know about shave my head. I don't know about do it, but I'll go ball cap and set up my wheelchair like it's Xavier's chair.
I like it.
I mean, maybe a tank. Gotta give me maybe I'll be Batman with a little Batmobile.
Oh, I love it.
Gotta commit. Oh, Ghostbuster with the Ep.1.
Perfect.
So many options, bro. You just gotta lean into it. You can't let it bring you down.
I like it. That's a very positive outlook in life.
You kind of have to, bro. When life beats you up, you have no choice, bro, but to take the punches and roll with them.
Yeah. Xavier is a really good option. I never really stopped to consider how OP he is and how little they use him, right?
How little they use him in what sense? Because if you're talking X-Men, he's there all the fucking time.
Yeah, but leader present, right. They don't send him into combat as much as they should. And
you're
I feel
right.
Like he would be able to stop a lot of stuff without bloodshed.
They kind of use him like an overpowered, Google Maps or something. Like, hey, get into Cerebro and find this mutant and tell me where he is.
Bro, we have Google Earth now.
Yeah, Google Earth. No, they have Cerebro. Hey, Xavier, can you find these guys? Tell me where to go, and then I'm gonna send the group out here. Yeah. X-Men, go.
Deploy. Yeah.
I mean, maybe cushy job. He's a leader. He doesn't have to put in the work. He just kind of sends them out, right?
Yeah, it's wild though, right?
I'd agree, man. Especially, I mean, they did bring him in that Doctor Strange movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Mm-hmm. The Multiverse of Madness.
I did.
Yeah.
It's actually like the movie's good. Talking about that movie, it was good. It's like well shot. I love me some Doctor Strange. I don't know if I was the biggest fan of Scarlet Witch as the bad guy. She like all of a sudden went from being a strong character to like an invincible character, like taking out people left and right. Like it seemed she seemed over way above and over her limitations of power output.
You're talking about as far as like how the MCU portrayed her originally, and then how she is
She
now.
was in that movie, yeah.
But I think that's kind of like I think she already had that capability, and I think her madness of just losing all these people
Right.
kind of took her to the next limit. And I think that whole exchange that we saw in WandaVision
Right.
with Agatha kind of gave her even extra exposure, because the reason she even went beyond at that point is because she was using that dark hold, and that kind of like overpowers people, even Doctor Strange himself, you know.
And them dark holes.
But even in the comics, she was pretty
overpowering people, you know.
you know how it is, bro. But no, even in the comics, she was pretty OP, you know.
Yeah, it just I don't know, the transition for me seemed to go from like, if I had to quantify it in a measurable way, like I'd go from like, she went from being like a 5-6 in power level. In the beginning she was like a 3, then like 5-6. By the time she faced Thanos, she was like 7-8, like impressive. And now, like out of a scale of 10, like the way she was traveling universes, the way she was like able to remote in and go through water and jump like dimensions, it was so excessive.
Again,
that I was
that
like,
they give her all that
like,
because of
damn.
that book. She got a hold of that book, and that book
Yeah.
kind of like OP'd her. I
Yeah.
get you where you're
Like,
coming
I
from,
was just
man.
like, damn, like all of a sudden, like you got Doctor Strange that's like, this dude's gangster as hell too, that he can't even keep up. And it wasn't just one, it was like every dimension's Doctor Strange is getting fucked over, you know?
Yeah.
And then they even had like the monsters that she would send out, those monsters were taking out Doctor Strange's, like her minions were so powerful, they were taking,
She can
like
control like OP fucking monster. I get it.
yeah, like it just became so excessive.
Bringing it back full circle to fucking Xavier, she took out Xavier in his own game with a mental game.
That's crazy too.
That's pretty wild,
right?
Yeah, I agree, bro.
I mean, like it wasn't a bad movie. I'm just saying she went from a certain level to like an excessive increase of power.
1000%, I agree. She just fucking
still a good movie.
Oh yeah, she just went off on the fucking power level.
Yeah.
But here we are talking about a movie that came out like a fucking year ago.
Was it a year ago?
I don't know, dude, but I want to say it was a while back.
I feel like since COVID happened, I have no concept of time. I feel like because I don't get it out as much, I'm like trapped indoors way too much. And like days and months and years are bleeding into each other. We were talking about my car. I've had it for like 7 years.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe 3 to 4 at the very most.
But I feel like that's time itself, dude. Once you get to a certain point, like
We're
it just
back to age. God damn
flies,
it.
bro. Age just makes things fly, right? You think about it as I remember being a kid, dude, and a year would seem like forever. They would tell you like, oh, this movie's gonna come out next year, you know? It would be like Jurassic Park coming out 1995, and you'll be like, God damn it, it's 94. Gotta wait a whole fucking year.
Yeah.
And now it's like the new Batman's coming out in 2025. Oh shit, I'll be here before you.
Yeah.
Look at us. We're almost at 2023.
Also, talking about movies coming out, isn't it weird that nothing grabs your attention the way it used to before? Like before, like you watch Jurassic Park and you're like, Jurassic Park 2. You're like, oh shit, I can't wait. Oh my god. Now it's like certain things bang and hit, but it's like super short lived, right? So like with Jurassic Park as an example, like you saw 1 and you saw 2 and you saw 3 and it expanded over years and you had vested interest in watching it over years. Now, like Hunger Games comes out and everybody's talking about it for like a period of time. Mm-hmm. And right now, nobody gives a fuck about Hunger Games.
Nah.
At all.
That happened already.
Past, right?
But you know what I say changed the game too is, one, I feel like movies became kind of weak and they kind of like they kind of follow formula, blah blah blah, and it came to a point where it's like you didn't really see like the cinematography or the bigness of movies that how it used to be. And I think a lot of that too comes to the streaming service. Now it's more like big hype on series. Oh, have you seen Squid Games, dude? Have you seen Game of Thrones? Have you seen the new House of Dragons, bro? House of Dragons. Yeah. And I get hyped for those things too. I'm not gonna lie, I get hyped for the series that come out.
But they're short lived, right? And to your point, though, you're 100% right. Like I feel like the streaming services killed the game for movies, but more cinematography. Like very good point. But I think more so, like from a character development, you can't do the same type of building a character out and seeing the growth of a person within the series.
Oh yeah.
In a 2-hour movie, the way that you can over 9 episodes, hour long, right? Like,
I think we've been conditioned to prefer a longer series because you get way more details,
right? You
way better character
in
development,
the characters, in the story. You get way more vested. The only beef is there's a hard drop off. Like once it's over, you're emotionally vested, super into it. If more series came out, you'd watch it, but then there's the drop off, and then you're off to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then there's people that they're not about one thing no more. They're like about 7 of them. Like there's people at work that talk about this like Maiden's Tale, something Maiden's Tale, and they're at the same time they're watching another show, and then at the same time they're watching Game of Thrones, and now they're watching this new one that you just mentioned.
We've become show polygamists.
Yeah, I don't know.
Instead of
is that the show?
No, it's more of a sense of like polygamy as in married to multiple people. Now we're married to multiple shows.
I see what you mean.
You know, people would be committed to one thing. I'm a Star Wars fan. Fuck Star Trek. You know.
I do remember people had like that division.
That kind of beef,
right?
you know. I mean, you still kind of see it with like older people maybe like us, but yeah, you're right. New people's like, hey, I'm on this, I'm on that. Maybe there's some people that have beef with Squid Games or whatever it is, but
yeah.
I mean, so far we're good with this shit.
Super true.
By the way, we're both drinking alcohol right now. I know you can't see us. We're hoping that future episodes do have
some form of video.
Yeah, we're going to provide video eventually, yeah.
It's like, you know, from an entertainment standpoint, the way we look, it's clearly the way one of us look.
And he's clearly talking about me. But yeah, eventually we're going to have video coming in with the audio.
I feel like our mannerisms and the way we look at each other and the way we interact is part of the magic.
It really is. You guys are missing out on some of the things, you know, maybe it doesn't really translate on audio, but it's coming through right now.
Yep. I can't wait till we have guests on too. Like Marlon should be a good one as a recurring person.
Oh, Marlon, recurring person, 100%. He brings a certain type of energy and perspective. And then obviously we're going to have people like Manny, who's a hell of a character, and he has one hell of a perspective. So
it's a very polarizing perspective that he has.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to have some polarizing people on this podcast. You know, we'll bring some other people.
Maybe Big Boy.
Big Boy, definitely. He's got great stories and also another polarizing character.
Super true.
We'll bring in people like Noe, who happens to be out of state, but whenever he's here, we'll probably fucking throw him on. People like Rudy, who might give a little different perspective.
My brother, my cousins.
Yeah, Luis and Caesar, Chris. We'll have some. We'll bring some female perspectives as well. Maybe your wife Melissa. Maybe my girlfriend Chris. We'll try to see who else we can bring.
Yeah, I'm with it. It should be pretty interesting to see the evolution of this. One of the things that I want to do is our show's name is the Immorals.
Yeah, we are the Immorals.
We are the Immorals. We should have started with that.
I think we did.
Did we?
I'm pretty sure I introduced us as the Immorals.
I'm glad you did. But one of the segments that I'm looking the most forward to, next to guests, is giving people advice.
Yeah, because we're here for your moral support, and who better to give you immoral support than us?
Absolutely. Like, you tell us what you're dealing with in life, and we are gonna be your life coaches. We're here to help.
Yeah, we're here to just give you some little bit
solutions.
Solutions.
Don't come at us
advice.
with problems. Talk to me about solutions. That's
exactly.
Me. You know what? We got you.
You got a problem? We got a solution.
You've seen that movie Pulp Fiction, right? Classic movie.
100%.
Right? There's a character there. His name, the Wolf, right?
Yeah.
That's us.
We are the Wolf.
You tell us what's happening. You have a dead body in your trunk. You have problems at work, relationship problems. You're trying to figure out how to make more money. You're trying to figure out how to get a better career. You're trying to get back at someone. Yo, talk to your boys. We super got you.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you knocked up your girl. Maybe they knocked you up.
Maybe, very fair.
Maybe you're getting cheated on. Maybe you're the one cheating.
We got you. We'll figure out a way
figure it out
to provide you the immoral support that you need to get through any situation.
But not only that, we'll also give you an immoral perspective on current events.
Very fair. So, talking about getting knocked up, shmushmorshins.
Smushmorshins are illegal in a lot of states in the country now.
But not in California.
Nah. Luckily, we live in the grand state of California where we still have smushmorshins.
The thing...
And Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood. Dude, did you ever been to Planned Parenthood?
No, not personally. I mean, I never found the need to go there myself.
I've been a few times.
Okay.
And it was more for like no insurance, get testing, make sure you're good.
Oh
I
get
right?
That,
like
yeah.
So
See, they provide a perfect service like that, and then they also provide like a birth control for women,
right?
Affordable birth control for women, Plan B, all kinds of things that we need as humans, that are sexual. I mean, let's get it. We're all gonna be fucking.
Yeah.
You can't stop people from fucking.
Yeah. Busting nuts.
Busting nuts. Nuts will be busted. Cream pies will happen.
Jesus Christ, that got so much more aggressive, so much faster than I was anticipating.
But that's the way the show goes.
I feel like it's so visual.
But when you got a pull-out game that's strong, like ODB, ooh baby, I like it raw.
Dude, that's crazy.
But yeah, we get it. Smushmorshins. I mean, what's crazy to me is like I thought about it conceptually. Like there's this, I can't necessarily bring it down to what state, but like I think like maybe Kansas to like Iowa or some bullshit like that. There's a situation where like one state weed's illegal, and then the other state, and in that same state abortion's illegal, but in the other state weed's illegal, but abortion's illegal. So I imagine the situation where they're crossing states.
Yeah.
And they could see each other as one guy's like smoking a J across the board, and the other one's like trying to get the baby out. We heard some yelling.
Some yelling in the background. Our studio.
Our studio at the moment is
my living room.
His living room,
which sometimes lends itself to background noise in a way that is not what we want, not optimal.
I mean, but it's episode 1. We can't really like...
testing the waters a little bit.
And obviously we're going to want you guys to leave comments. Let us know how we can make this better.
Yeah, improve the show, segments that you want to see, things that you want to hear us talk about. One of the things that I wanted to talk to Chewy about was trips that he's traveled on. And I want to hear more about them. Not necessarily today, but maybe it's something that we can talk about because Chewy is an amazing individual. One of the magical things about Chewy is that Chewy, with all due respect, has been struggling to find his career in life.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But has a master's degree, right? Teaching credentials.
Well, with the teaching credential situation, I'm actually pending, bro. I'm waiting on them because I submitted. So, one, it's been a long ass journey for me to even get into the education, right? So I had to take I did the master/credential program.
Right.
I went through it, and then there was a whole situation of you have to pass this test called the RECA. Mm-hmm. And the RECA is not an easy test per se because it's kind of like graded on a subjective level. Oof. So it's like it's up to the grader, pretty much, whoever's grading the test, to decide whether you're sufficient or efficient or qualified enough to teach kids how to read. Right. So with that test, is like I graduated in 2018, and then I had to take the test. I took it once. I didn't study for jack diddly squat. I went right in, took this test raw, and I failed it by like 10. And I got pretty discouraged at the time. And mind you, this test costs like almost $200 a pop. So every time you take it is about $200. So obviously my ass is broke too because I had just come out of student teaching. Like, you're not getting paid for 4 months. You're doing this this thing, and then you come out with debt. You come out with like no money, right. And then I try to get into the industry. So you start off by subbing. I'm a substitute teacher, which, by the way,
the industry he's talking about is teaching. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, industry of education, not pornography or any other form of.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I got in. My first steps were substitute teaching. And
right.
that takes some time, and then from there I kind of got into a school that liked me, and the position opened up to be like an autism paraprofessional, and that autism paraprofessional position I got in kind of gave me a permanent spot at the district. So it gave me benefits and all kinds of stuff. Not the best money because, I mean, hourly wage wasn't too bad, but I was working like 6.5 hours a day, and it was
Right.
still considered full time. But I mean, and at the same time, that's where I got injured. And then with the injury, they kind of
You also got permanent disability from
yeah,
it.
permanent disability, besides the permanent status. And then I kind of got booted in a sense, like you can't do this job anymore because you're a liability in the sense like you're gonna get hurt again because kids are they're
Physical.
not physical, but they're unpredictable. You don't know if they're gonna take off. They don't know if they're gonna kick you. Do you need to run? You can't run. Doctor says no fucking running. You know.
Right.
So I mean that's a plus for me because I hate running. But at the same time I was like okay, so it kind of bummed me out. They kind of kept me out, but then with the whole testing situation to try to get the shit done, then
Right.
we get hit with COVID, bro. We get hit with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 years where I can't take this test because this test is taken in a room. You can't do it at your comfort of your home because they're gonna say you're cheating or whatever. So you have to go to testing centers, which are all closed.
Damn.
So you're kind of jacked. You're kind of screwed in this situation. So I had to wait 2 years, come out of COVID. All right, now I have to pay the $200. So it's kind of like it became a matter of like when do I have the money accessible, and then I could take the test. So I took it like after COVID. I took it 3 more times.
Mm-hmm.
And then I failed it 2 times by 5, and that was pretty jacked. You know, kind of like fuck, dude, 5 points? Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell am I doing wrong? And they don't even. Here's the thing about teaching, man. They teach you all about, bro. If a kid messes up, you know, you kind of explain to the kid, so you kind of help them, you know, work on what their mistakes are, and you help build them up on what their weaknesses are, right? And then this test that they give teachers goes around and tells you, you fucked up. What did you do wrong? Figure it out, motherfucker. You know? So it's kind of like, all right, they kind of leave you hanging dry, but I eventually passed it. So with passing it, I called my university, which is the University of Redlands, where I got my master's. Did the whole situation, filled out the paperwork, and then they recommended me to the CTC, which is the California Teacher Credentialing. And then they go through a process where they're going to evaluate it. Normally, when it comes to a recommendation, they said, oh, it takes about 10 business days. And then I kept looking on the site. 2 weeks, dude. 3 weeks. I'm on vacation now. I'm in Cancun, and I get the email. Bro, you're missing your fingerprints. Your fingerprints expired. You need to get new fingerprints. So I was like, damn, all right, new fingerprints. But in the back of my head, now I'm like kind of concerned because talking about how jacked up situations happen in my life, I got hit with freaking felony charges in 2020 from some bullshit that happened in 2018 from a car accident, which I paid out of pocket to fix that car. The insurance didn't pay shit, but I got hit with felony charges for trying to do insurance fraud. So I had to go fight that shit. It cost me like another 10 to 12 grand to get lawyers and get all this fixed. Everything got dropped. The judge realized that it was kind of stupid, but at the same time, let's face it, a lot of times they're money grabbers when it comes to like the court system. They're like, all right, well, we're going to hit you with some fines. So they hit me with a few fines and they made me pay my insurance company the money that I paid the lady for the damages. I don't know why. They didn't pay shit, but I had to pay them. So it was just like a whole fucked up situation that just sent me back. But here I am, get my fingerprints done, and now I have to wait like another 2 weeks. I just checked. They went through the process on Monday, the 29th of August, and it says now that it no longer says waiting for fingerprints. Now it says pending further evaluation, which, by the way, my charges were dropped with the exception of one, which got turned into a misdemeanor, but like a bullshit misdemeanor. And then, but I had to give up my fingerprints and do that whole thing with the court system because they want everybody. They literally want everybody to do this. They want everybody to turn in their fingerprints. They want pretty much accessibility to anybody just in case there's a crime or whatever. I get it. I'm not a fucking criminal, so it doesn't concern me. But it did concern me in the sense like, will the CTC look at this and be like, oh, is he fit to be a teacher? So it kind of has me like, a little worried. But I don't think I should be that worried because as we speak, I just paid another $1,000 to get this expunged because technically I came up for expungement after a year. It was only like a year of this misdemeanor where I had it and now I can expunge it, and technically it's in the process of being expunged. So hopefully it's off my record and I'm freaking set free. But it's just another chapter in my book of fucking of a series of unfortunate events called Chewy's life. But here I am, dude. I'm still fucking going on, you know.
Yeah,
we keep on trucking.
2 things I want to call attention to. First of all, um, uh, you have all the acronyms in your life: CTC, UFO,
AFO.
like your primary care physician. You throw out all of the acronyms all of the time.
Ow, that's what I get hit with. Nothing but
The most acronyms, all of them. And number two, what I was trying to tell people in the story about your journey, because you just told people your story.
Well, part of it.
Right, part of your story. Through all of that, right?
Yeah.
All of the struggles, like what you've talked about is years in the making, right?
Well, yeah, starting like 2015,
right?
With my master, and then I mean, there's troubles prior to that as well, but let's not get into that.
Right. So, but with all of that, still, Chewy is a world traveler.
A world traveler. I mean, I've only traveled the Americas. Goal is to go to Europe next year, but yeah.
Yeah, a self-proclaimed broke person that Chewy says that he's broke 24/7 somehow actively travels frequently. I was in Cancun when I received this letter. It's literally what you said in your story.
I did. And the worst part is that I didn't work for 3 weeks because school ends, and then there's 3 weeks of no payments.
Right. So Cancun obviously is the most logical sense.
Oh, yeah. So when I came, obviously I'm broke right now because I still haven't recovered from the fact that I paid for this vacation. But I still managed to pay my bills. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I use credit cards for travel sometimes. You know, I feel like every other American does the same shit. You know, I mean, to be honest, I feel like life.
Student loans are going to be forgiven.
Not all of them. Oh, eventually they could be because I am a public servant. So they're going to go through. Thanks for the 10 grand.
Yeah.
20 grand because some of them were Pell Grants, which they're saying Pell Grants are 20 grand. So hopefully 20 grand down. That put me like at 45. It's not bad. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully whatever I pay off and then whatever's left gets forgiven because I'm going to be a public servant as a teacher.
Yeah. I'm with it. So one of the things that I want to talk to Chewy about is the world traveling. You know, I think there's a lot of experience that we can all draw from a guy who has found a very effective, financially effective way of traveling the world. There's a lot of benefit to that. So he had recently, in the last 6 months, he's both gone to Cancun and Mexico.
Mexico City, yeah. I've gone to Mexico City in April, and I went to Cancun 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Effective financial traveler.
It's called having good friends who are down to like maybe upfront the money most of the time, like Colombia or Panama or any other place I've been. Like you have friends who upfront the money, and I'm good for paying back because I do pay back. So that helps a lot. Or me having a credit card with a certain limit, that helps a lot, you know. Mm-hmm. So I mean that just helps, you know. In other words, I put myself in debt so I can like enjoy because I feel like life's about the experiences and the memories you make. And 100%. At the end of the day, I could die tomorrow and that debt can go with me. I don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
But at least I've seen other places of the world, and doing so, I feel like gives you perspective, you know, outside of your little bubble that you have, especially here in Orange County.
Dude, this place is in the most not real world there is.
Yeah, in a way, but I mean, we face so many hardships. Like Santa Ana they talk a lot of shit on Santa Ana as far as Orange County is concerned because you got really snooty places here, especially in South County. We're talking like Mission Viejo, Aliso Viejo, Laguna Guinea, you know. But even then, like Santa Ana itself is fucking expensive to live at too, bro. Like everything's expensive.
It's taking a turn here in Santa Ana, dog. Like, excuse me. Me and Bella on the weekends we're like cruising. And one of the new things is like we were driving one time and she sees a sign and is like, "What's that?" It says open house.
Right.
I'm like, "Oh, they're selling a house." She's like, "They're selling a house?" And she's stuck on wanting to buy a house right now. She's like, "We should buy a house. I think this is a great idea."
Yeah.
Right? So she's like, "Can we go see it?" So we roll up, post up, get out of the car, go in, and we're walking around and the guy's asking, like the salesperson's asking all the questions. "Do you guys own a place? How long have you lived there? What kind of payment can you afford?" And Bella's answering all these questions, which is kind of funny, right? Like, what?
Really?
I've lived in the condo for 8 years because she's 8 years old. You know,
yeah, so she's a character.
Stuff like that, right? But we get to the time of the price, and it's like like, mind you, it's a basic ass house.
Probably needs fucking a lot of work.
This particular house didn't.
Okay.
But there's nothing special about it. It's
All right,
3 bedrooms, 2 bath, basic.
Basic. No
Basic.
special backyard. No special features. No AC.
No AC.
Shit.
But it seems very like touched up, like the face of it. Like
not even modernized to a bit.
It's a little bit modernized, but it's very like surface. Like they changed the
They Mickey Mouse this shit. All right.
But like yes and no, like
it's a flip.
But it's a
you
flip.
Think it's a flip.
Yes, it's
okay.
a flip.
It's a flip.
That's a good way of saying it. So it's a flip, and the price $750,000.
$750,000. Where is this house?
In Santa Ana, in the hood too. So like when you stop and consider $750,000 for a 3 bedroom, 2 bath with a 2-car garage that's detached, but in a basic ass house in a lower income neighborhood. It's not like high end. It's just a basic house.
You gotta admit the market's fucking ridiculous.
It's stupid right now. But with interest rates going up, that's gonna change everything. But when you stop and consider the expensiveness of a house, bro, how do people buy shit now? I have no idea.
And that explains why in Santa Ana you have no parking, dude, because there's like 10 families to a house, and that's the only way you can afford to live there.
That super makes sense.
And I feel like anybody else who has a home here in Santa Ana is been there for a while, so it's like a generation thing already.
Yeah, super true.
I mean, those who didn't buy are kind of screwed now. Like myself, I'm kind of screwed. I feel like you came into your condo at the perfect time because you got it at like a legit price.
Right.
Your rent is like
nothing
for the 2 bedrooms that you have here is nothing compared to they're charging you like $2,400 for 2 bedrooms out there now.
Right, to rent.
Yeah, and then not in the best neighborhoods.
Yeah, I have a washer dryer. I have AC. Right, I have like pool. We have like a washer dryer inside the place. The kitchen's nice and done up. Like. All things considering, I pay nothing for this place. Yeah, which makes it really hard to move.
Because you have really good amenities for what it is. I mean, including the fact that your washer and dryer are your very own, and they have a spot for it in your house.
Yeah, dude, like it is very financially comfortable for me, and it's been financially comfortable here, and it's made it really difficult to move out because everything else is so expensive.
But would you want to move? I mean, of course you would want a house.
If I could get a house, I would.
What's the furthest you'd move to fucking? Because there's all these people going to Corona. There's all these people going
I'm not
to.
Down. Like with me working at Tustin, I never want to work or I don't want to live at a place where I have to commute more than 30 minutes. That's a deal breaker for me.
Yes, I feel you 100%.
Fuck all of that. We're talking about life being about memories. I'm not trying to have my memories being sitting in traffic for an hour each way. Yeah, like that's a personal choice.
1,000%, because that's a huge part of your life when you add it up. All those hours, dude. I feel you 100%. I lived in LA and I lived and worked in LA, and then my last year of college, I worked and went to school in LA, but moved back home to Santa Ana, and that commute sometimes would be over 2 hours, dude. Over 2 hours just sitting in the fucking car. I would get out of work at 5, and I'd be home by like 7 or 8. That's like half your evening's gone. Like, go to sleep, get ready for the next day, bro.
Yeah, fuck all of that.
And then having to have papers and other shit to do, it was a lot. And imagine having to work, like you get the work stress, now you got to deal with traffic,
and then coming home and having to deal with like physical or like personal relationships outside of that. Fuck all of that.
And then trying to balance a healthy diet, and then trying to work out. Oh man,
too much. Fuck all of that. You know, like at a certain point, there's only so much that like I'm willing to put up with, and a long commute it's not my bag. You know.
I feel, but some people are willing to do that just for the simple fact that.
To own a home.
They own a home.
I'm comfortable in my place.
I mean, I have a niece right now. Mm-hmm. Her and her boyfriend bought a house.
I saw.
They're all the way out in San Bernardino, dude. That's over 2 hours, like 2 hours out.
Right.
Out in the buttfuck middle of nowhere. It's like 90 degrees here in Santa Ana.
It's got to be 200 over there.
It's easily 115, 120. It must be disgusting.
Disgusting.
I mean, hey, but some people are willing to sacrifice that for the house. It might be an investment Yeah,
in the future.
more. Yeah. More power to them.
Yeah,
dude, honestly.
everybody's got different value system, and I don't knock it, but that's not my bag, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not my bag either. But I had this conversation with my brother too, and he's like, "So you're willing to pay like $600, $700 for a house?" And I'm like, at this point, I'll take a condo at 5, but like at least it's something, and I'm locally, and I'm taking a hit. It is what it is. I'm hoping that the bubble bursts.
It's gonna burst,
and prices go down, and eventually I can get in. And then especially if I'm a teacher, first time teacher, a teacher with a first time buyer. There's like programs out there, so I'm just hoping I can get in like in the perfect window, like perfect.
Yeah. It's a lot of it timing, but I think what's going to need to happen is interest rates go up, and interest rates going up usually drives prices down. And when those prices go down, they're still expensive, you know, but from a payment standpoint, because the interest rates are higher and the prices are lower, your payment is about the same.
I get that.
So like that's the balance of it. So you buy a house that the payment's still significantly like it stretches you. But hopefully, over time, interest rates drop, you refinance and get a lower payment at that time. So that's kind of the concept behind it, but you are going to be stretched in the beginning and probably for a certain amount of time till you get into a situation where you can refinance.
Right, yeah.
Right, like that's kind of the idea.
But the idea
get
is
lucky enough to do that.
Owning something is what matters at the end, you know?
Joe, it does matter because with rent going up the way it's going up for people, I have such a peace of mind of knowing my payment is fixed. Yeah. I'm so stress free when it comes to money because I bought a place when I was like in my mid-20s.
Yeah.
And I've only made more money. Now granted my expenses are higher because I have like dead weight with me.
His wife and his kid.
Like dead weight holding me down, trying to sink me underwater and keep me there.
You're Jack.
Yeah. There's room
There's room.
There's room for both of us.
No, there isn't.
Being thrown underwater. Anyway, although my expenses are going up because one of the larger expenses being your like home is so regulated. It's such a nice place to be, and it gives me such peace of mind of not wanting to step outside of that. You know?
Yeah, I feel you 100%. Hey, like I said, it's luck. You're lucky, not lucky, but you're smart enough and to get into a place, and you just happen to have the good window and
a little bit of luck. One last thing that I want to talk to you about before we wrap this up. One of the segments that I just thought about this, and I want to do this with you on the show because I didn't think about it till now.
Yeah.
Is I want to work on jokes that we could say as stand-ups on the podcast. So I was thinking about this, like. One of my coworkers, friend,
right,
posted something that said something like the sexual tension between me and an extra hour of sleep. Right, that was the post.
Okay.
And then I started thinking about it. I was like, I feel like I could call myself an extra hour of sleep and be like, people want to fuck with me. But they know I'll ruin their life. you know,
I
like,
get that.
There's probably like a built-in somewhere in there where
a little
it's like,
joke in there.
Yeah, like I feel like I could build upon that to be like to have a stand-up in there, right? I was also thinking about the concept of like different workout styles for different what's it called? Like horror movie monsters. Right? So you got Jason. Deadlifts. That dude's like a strength dude, right?
I get it.
Right? So like, I'm thinking
Michael Myers, Power Walker. Because he always seems to run you down, bro. And he's just walking.
Fair.
But next thing you know, he's right next to you.
What about Freddy Krueger?
What would be his workout?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking probably like jiu-jitsu or something, right?
You gotta grab the little kids.
Choke them out with the sweater.
Choke them out with the sweater.
You know, because in jiu-jitsu they use the gi to choke people out.
Get it? Oh man.
But I feel like there's jokes that we can create or stand-ups that we can build upon that we can like talk through with each other and riff off of each other to build a comedy bit, right?
That's true.
So like the hour of extra sleep, like if we went back and forth right now, it'd be like people would call me an extra hour of sleep because
it sounds good.
It'd be good while it's happening, but you'd have regrets afterwards.
There's consequences.
There's consequences. Like, it'd be great at certain times of the day, but I'm gonna ruin the rest of your day.
Okay, I
right?
get it. I like that concept. Try to bring some little stand-up thoughts
in there, and then we can just play with it, jumping back and forth with each other of how we can build the joke upon itself. Right? I feel like we can build upon all of this. So we want to thank you guys for listening.
Yes, thank you guys for listening.
We want you guys to subscribe. Tell us how we can help provide you support, advice, and be there for you during these trial times. This was
the
Tony
Immorals
and Chewy with your immoral
support. Yeah.